Hey everyone, Roger here from Ask Car Experts YouTube channel. Today we're going to be putting a trailer hitch on this beautiful G05. We're going to go over the full steps for the installation. Now this trailer hitch can be installed only on vehicles that have a certain option code. It has to have 8SL trailer hitch pre-wiring. I'm going to give you a list of all of these parts in the description box, so if you're looking to get this done, make sure to check that out. There are multiple components. You need the trailer hitch, which comes with the hardware and the shims. There's another package that comes with the module, the trailer hitch plug connector, the wiring harness, but then there's also some components they don't list. This back piece for the cover on the bumper, which is going to go on this lower section right here, and this holder are not part of the regular kit. You have to buy that separate. Always check by VIN, and this does not come painted, so you do have to get this painted. Quick overview of what we need to take apart. We do have to pull this fender area off. The bumper is going to come off. There's some hidden screws behind this reflector. Let's open the hatch up. There's a hidden screw underneath this cover right here. And we're going to have some perimeter screws underneath we're going to have to take off, and we're going to have to do that on both sides. All right, we have to grab this panel, and it's going to fight you a bit, but this whole wheel arch is held in by clips. So you're just going to pull it straight out, and once you get it started, you can work this whole panel free. Now you can stop right there because we only have to take off this section. You can see these are the press tabs right here, and then they're held on by these little white clips that go into the holes right here. So take a good grip and pull outwards. Once they start giving up, then usually you can work it free. Piece of cake. All right, here's a quick tip. Take an empty water bottle and put it up against the body, and that'll hold that out so that you don't have to worry about that scratching as you're working. All right, so just for safety, we're going to tape off the light right at the bottom of the light. And we're going to tape off the body seam where it meets the bumper. This bumper panel is going to want to lift up and touch on this upper body seam right here, so you're going to want to make sure that you tape that just for some added protection as you're working. And do both sides. So you have to access the hidden bolt here, so we have to take these covers off that are inside this area for the light. Basically, they just hide the hardware. All right, starting at the top, just get a plastic pry tool, give it a little bit of a tug. And it comes off nice and easy. You are going to have dirt in here. This is a path that water is going to go down from the drains. And we have to get to this screw right here. Now we have to take the side marker light off. So you want to go on the inside here with a plastic pry tool, and you just pry it gently outwards. All right, 8mm screw time. So we got this one by the light on both sides. Then we got the hidden screw that was behind that reflector. That's 2. And we have 1 here behind the trim that we needed to get to. Then you do have to get on the ground. We have to take this panel off here. So this is all, again, 8mm screws. So you got 1, 2. We got to go around the perimeter here, all the way. All of these screws here, all these screws here. This is pretty self-explanatory. And these screws here. So we're going to take those off. This should come off as a separate panel, and then we'll be ready to take this bumper off. Like I was saying, there's a lot of screws. And also get these along this outer perimeter here to remove that piece. With all of the perimeter screws on the bottom removed, then go ahead and partially just stop it by hand, the tailgate, because that gives you access to these clips here that are holding the bumper. This is where the guide pins are when you're putting the bumper back on. All right, with a small pocket screwdriver, there's some tabs that you have to press. All right, so there's one tab released. So you have to push down gently, find the tab location, then with the screwdriver, push it down. There's the third one. Yeah. All right, so let's take a quick look. You can see these squares are where the bumper is held in place, and it's a push tab, so you have to get in there with a screwdriver and push down just like this and give it a pull at the same time to get these to pop free. It takes a little bit of effort, but you can do it. All right, that's the easy part. There's one. Yeah, the other one's back here a bit. Man, that's... That's two. There it is. Well, that's not too bad. Yep. And that's the piece that fell that we have to recover. We should be able to get it no problem. So right here is this little tab, right? It's not deep, it's more towards the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. It's right at the edge of the bumper, in between these two ribs, right there. You have to just push that down. Yep, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's one. And that's what locks the bumper in place in these sliders right here. All right, man, she's almost ready to come out. All right, so we're ready to slide her out. And in here is the connector for the PVC wiring harness. All right, so hold on a sec, you got it? All right, bumper removed. You have to press these two tabs. It's pretty stiff, even a slightly colder day. So it was really hard to do that. You definitely want to have two people when you're taking this bumper off to prevent damage. That's it. That's how you remove the bumper. Now we're going to take this piece off. The trailer hitch is going to replace that bracket. If you do have the kick feature, that's the antenna. This is the module for the kick feature. Unfortunately, that is eliminated when you install the trailer hitch. So we have some basic trim to remove. We're going to get this off, and then it's reinstallation of the whole hitch. We do have to install the wiring. The wiring is going to go through the existing grommet. We're going to have to pull this out, cut it, and then feed it through, and then seal this back up with the new wiring harness. Okay, we're going to start with the two upper side panels. These clips are super easy to come off. You just need a pick, and you just lift up on them, and they're basically like a replaceable plastic rivet. And that should be all you need to do. Besides, they have a little clip on the bottom, one on each side. It's funny, it's a little bit of a pain to get to. You can see it's a pretty robust clip right there. Basically, you just have to push back. How about from underneath? Yeah, there it is. Yep. You can see it's just a pretty robust clip right there, and that pushes into these tabs. Do that on both sides. So there's actually a double clip on this, and that's why that back one's a little bit harder. There's a clip back here, so you just have to work it and pop it free. The next step is to take off the antenna in the module. The plastic rivets pull out nice and easy. Just use a pick and you can pull out the center insert and the plastic rivets come off. Make sure to put them aside because you're going to reuse them. Now this piece is getting eliminated. Pop that off the old bracket. That's the harness for the kick feature. It's just held on by one of those stupid plastic clips. And this is going to get tied up into the existing harness because that's eliminated. And then we do have to take the exhaust hanger bracket down. That's going to be a 13. You're just going to let the exhaust drop down. And do that on both sides. Alright, so the exhaust hangers are actually part of this back bracket that needs to be replaced with the trailer hitch. So at this point, we just have to take off the larger nuts. Okay, now taking this off, just use some caution because you can see you have to be partially open. Actually, we can go a little bit more because it is close to the paint, so just watch what you do. And the 4 on the other side. Now the bracket should be ready to come off. Alright, they give you new of these plastic shims, so we're going to take these off. Alright, so now we have to go into the body panel in here, and you have to pry out this cover. This is also where the rear fuse panel is. And we have to go down into this well. That's where this harness is to push the grommet through into this cavity down here. All right, so here's our harness right here. We're gonna push it into here to access it. Looks like we got a little bit of mouse poop down there too. From out here, we're gonna push it in. So he's already popped it free, and we're pushing it into the body. And there it is right there. And that's how we're going to feed our new harness through. Alright, so take your new harness that comes with the kit, and we're going to feed that through the body opening right here. There it is.
Should be coming through now.
Yep. So once you push that in, try to get that harness up out of the way. I'm gonna assist it right here, yep. Yep, almost there. Just gotta feed it up. Alright, there we go. Yep, the ground is in. Alright, that's our inside harness right there. Take off the battery cover. It's just these lift up clips, very, very simple. A nice little... Down in this cavity, turn the light on, right here is the ground. 10mm nut holding it. So you might need a ratchet wrench to get to that 10mm. Just with a small ratchet wrench, you can access that. Here's that ground. We're just going to leave that on anyways because we're just going to go over the top. Make sure your vehicle is powered down before disconnecting any grounds, or you can disconnect the ground connection on your battery just for safety. So you can get from the inside here and around, and I got the eyelet on. And torque spec good and tight. There we go right there. Our ground is installed. So you can see you have those holes in the grommet. That's where you would start drilling. So we have a drill bit, and we're going to drill carefully because there is a harness on the other side. Right, you can see that this is a good size. It's slightly bigger than the harness we're going to be installing. So we have to drill it, and then we're going to cut the harness, or we're going to cut the grommet a little bit to slide the wiring harness over, and then we're going to close it up, and we're going to use either some RTV or some butyl to seal that up, because you want to make it watertight. Alright, so there's our new hole. And we're going to go ahead and pop the battery cover back on because we're all set here. So we're going to use butyl to seal this up. This you can get, this is 3M butyl. I'll put a link in the corner if you need to pick up some of this. So you can see right here, this is that cut, and then that's the harness sitting nice in that new hole that we made. So we're going to put some butyl in this connection right here, and that's going to make that watertight. So you can see right here, this is that cut, and then that's the harness sitting nice in that new hole that we made. So we're going to put some butyl in this connection right here, and that's going to make that watertight. All right, so you can see right here we have a butyl wrap around the harness pulled back. We're going to install the grommet, pull the harness through up to the butyl, which will seal this side, and then we can put some more butyl on the outside just to make sure it's 100% sealed. Yeah, almost there, just the top corner. Oh, I see. Yep. Yep, there she is. All right.
Now pull on the harness.
All right.
Trailer.
Now pull the harness into the butyl contacts in the back of the grommet. Now we're going to wrap some butyl around the other side to also seal the outside from water as well. All right, little insurance policy. You put a little bit of heat on the butyl, you can make sure that it's going to adhere to the grommet area really well. That makes a big difference. All right, so you have these new shims that are going to be installed over these openings. Install that on both sides. All right, so with the hatch down, just put the trailer hitch in place and then go ahead and start some of these. We don't want to tighten it all the way, we just don't want it to fall off. Because we're going to just make sure that the harness is routed correctly before we tighten this up all the way. Alright, so we're going to feed this around, and it is always a good idea to just make sure that all of the harness is routed correctly, because you don't want any spots where the harness is going to rub and cause a problem. So you always want to test fit and then check the locations of things. Like if this was resting against a frame and as you're driving that would rub and that would actually abrade and cause damage. I've seen it even on brand new cars with PVC sensors rubbing into the metal bracket back here. So just want to make sure that if there is a spot that it's contacting, you put a piece of felt tape or something to protect the harness. This is wrapped, but over time this wrap does not hold up. All right, harness routing time. So they give you these clips. These clips are not usually in the right spot. So you can snip them. They are removable. Take the zip tie off. So that comes out, and these are perfect little zip tie holders. You just slide a new zip tie in there and you can move the location for all of these hold downs. So we're going to take that one off. All right, here's our harness here routed this way. We might have to move that one, I'm thinking. And you see we have this S right here coming up, and we have it clipped to the body panel right here behind the hitch, and then around, and then it comes down. There's another holder under here, right here, and then our harness is going to come through for the actual plug connection. And simple, this is a plug and play. Plug that in, lock it in, and that's going to mount to the bracket. And it just pushes in and locks into place. If you pull the harness back, it looks like it does clear the shield in the back here too. Right, so that's not touching anymore. All right, we're gonna take this one off. And then you can go ahead and install it first, and then you know exactly where you're going to set that up. Alright, so we're going to finalize this and get our zip ties in. And just simply pass it through and hook up your harness. Now, just to take note on the new hitch, right here is the stud for the exhaust hangers. So you can kind of set those up for those 13 millimeters. Perfect. And then we just want to make sure we're not contacting anywhere here. And that's really what you're looking for. You want to make sure that the harness is not rubbing in any possible sharp area where over time it will get through, and even the tiniest hole will cause a short to ground. Alright, you can see how we have a nice gap here. This is floating. This goes all the way up here. We're not touching here. We're not touching here. We have a gap here. So this is perfect. We went up behind here. We connected it here, back around, and remember we have our hole down here, right here, and then around. You can see I can even pass my hand through here, so we're not touching that heat shield anymore, and that should be a perfect installation right there of that harness. All right, time to tighten up the trailer hitch bracket. We're gonna just bottom these out, and then we're gonna torque it down correctly. These are locking nuts. The torque spec is 108 Newton meters. So we're going to go ahead and use a torque wrench to make sure that we torque these properly. And everyone's confused. Alright, time to put the exhaust hangers on. So there's a little locator tab here, and then it's just the 13 millimeter. And some of these lift up so you don't cross thread, and good to go. Doing a trailer hitch, it's a good idea to grab a buddy because it does take 4 hands sometimes to juggle this stuff. Alright, so time to put this trim panel piece. This was actually one of the harder ones to get off, even though it's just a very simple piece, and you can hear how hard these lock down, but just gotta pry them off. I suppose if you did end up breaking the back ones, you have all these other spots where it's actually held down. I don't think it's going to be a problem because one of these clips are going to hold if you did break it. Alright, I'm just going to take some dielectric grease and I'm just going to stuff it into the connector and around here because I don't like to leave anything open like that. And that's it. That's how I'm going to leave it. And that way water and moisture can't get into this harness and cause a short or a problem in the future. We're going to just go ahead and zip tie that up and out of the way. Alright, so down in this well you have the 2 harnesses. You have a body side harness plug and then you have the harness that we fed through. So you have to connect those together first down there. There we go. And what's crazy about this install, it goes from already existing body harness plug to the module to these new plugs. A lot of times when you do a trailer hitch, you actually have to remove the fuse panel and repin the back of the fuse panel. This one's actually more of a plug and play. You have a nice little spot, these holders right here. Perfect, yeah, that's the one. And then plug in your harness. And a couple of zip ties to finish the job up and make it look nice and clean. Once that's all nice and tidy, you can go ahead and close this up. Alright, so the next step is, this is the kick feature with the module and the antenna. It's replaced by this piece right here. And that's just going to go on, and you just use those quick rivets, and this is just a bumper support. This does not come with the main hitch kit. This is ordered separate by VIN, and again, I'll put the part number of this, because these were difficult to find actually, these additional trim pieces, in the description box for you. All right, the next step is modification of the bumper panel. Now this piece is replaced with the updated piece that has the pre-cutout for the trailer hitch receiver area with the plug. So this is how it's going to look, and this piece also is another piece that you have to order separate. It comes primed, so you do have to get this painted. So if you want to save this panel, maybe someone will buy it. You go behind the rivet with a pry tool, and you can break the rivet out of the holder just like that. Now once you're there, you could cut it with a pair of dikes and do the same thing on this side. All right, so we're gonna snip this off. Of course, funny, I didn't have a good pair of side cutters at home, so I had to grab this, but this is gonna work fine. So just grab something to rip the head off, and then you can push these out from the back side, and then this should unclip. So this is crazy how easy this is compared to an X3 install, which we did an X3 install on my friend's parents' car, and I'll put a link in the corner if you want to check out that video, because modifying the bumper was a lot harder. It involved a lot of cutting into the plastic. I think BMW has gotten a lot better on these vehicles that have these pre-wire setups where things are a little bit more of a plug and play, so they're a lot more user-friendly. This is a repair you could do at home if you had a little bit of a mechanical ability and followed my video. You will be able to accomplish this and get a trailer hitch installed on your G05. And they're just clipped in, all of these clips right here. Yeah. Yep, you got a part right there sticking up. So you just have to massage it in to get it to lock in to the already existing holder. And everything should line up. And we need a new plastic rivet for here and a new plastic rivet for this location right here. That does not come in the kit either, so you will have to pick up some plastic rivets. There's a plastic rivet. This is a plastic rivet tool. Basically, it just pulls out the insert and you snap it off. You can pick one of these up from Harbor Freight for, they used to be $10, so I don't know, it's probably $20 nowadays, right? So there it is. Very, very simple to install this piece onto the rear bumper. And at this point, it's time to install the bumper back onto the vehicle. All right, so we want to get the tailgate into this angled position so we can see these clips again. When you're installing this, you have to go down and under these clips with the bumper, and remember, that's the tab that locks it right there. If you don't go down and under these clips, the bumper will lift on the inside and it won't be fully secure. So get the connector locked first when you have two people holding the bumper up, because you have to have it a little bit more towards that side to get it to lock on. Then make sure you're centered and just rest it on. All right, a couple of things to point out. We have this kind of floating here. You have to go into the groove right in here because that's where our screw is, right? You can see we're kind of floating along here, and you can see this is resting right here, and this is where we have to slide these clips down and into these clips. And again, over here, I went into this groove. We did recover that one metal bracket that for the screw, right? And you can see right here's a clip that has to push in and clip in. So I just wanted to pause and show you guys that. All right, so go ahead and push in the driver's side, and now you can go ahead and slide in and push these clips down and make sure that they're underneath those holders correctly, and work your way over to the passenger side, push in that. A little bit of a gap right here. Yep. Yeah. So there's a little bit of spot right here where, there we go. You could see there was a gap, so I had to be pulled out to get that body seam to line up correctly. And then you should line up with all of these holes. You can see you can give it a little bit of a push to line that up. All right, now we're going to go ahead and lock in the bumper panel. As simple as that. Nice. So always a good idea to take a second and make sure that all of your gaps are correct and everything looks like it's lined up properly before starting to put the hardware in. Time to put the screws in and start buttoning this up. Alright, we can go ahead and button up the whole side arch now. That has to slide into that piece right there. Alright, you have this big piece down here sticking out. Get it started first. And then you can go ahead and pop all that in. Right, this foam panel goes behind. Open the hatch and you can go ahead and put on the reflectors, and you just start in the corner, line it up, and they should just push right in. Then we have the side panel that we took off for the hidden screw for the lights. Right, so you can see it should be all the way back here past this inner piece of the light. Then you know you have it fully seated. All right, there we go. So now we just have these body panels underneath to put on, which are pretty self-explanatory. So there we go right there. There's the hitch install. All right, comes with a plug. You get both adapters, and we're good to go. Let's get those body panels on. Again, it's just a whole bunch of 8mm screws and we're good to go. So these body panels right here, if they fell out on you, there's a spot right there. There's a little holder right there that goes into that slot. And that's gonna make it a little bit easier to install it. You just gotta push it back in there like that, and then they'll hang down. Or with the second person, you can hold it in place. Grab the 1,000 screws that you got to put in. So once you're there, you can go ahead and just push it up into place, and it's going to clip and lock. And the small bolts, keep in mind, they go for this body panel. So you have one here, and you're going to have one on the other side as well. You can see the washer is larger. This is the small washer. So this piece is eliminated with this install also. That's that main centerpiece that we took off. Right?
Yeah, because there's nothing that touches.
Right, that gives you access to everything too, and to hook everything up. Alright, there she is. Man, that's nice. There it is. There's a trailer hitch install right there. So you do have to have the car programmed at a BMW dealership or someone that has ISTA software that is able to program this car for the trailer hitch. So you're going to get a wrench icon and a chassis stabilization fault until the vehicle is programmed, because it's not seeing the signal it wants to see from the trailer hitch module. So once this is programmed, then it will be integrated into the vehicle.